Okay. A little bit tired because I got done with a bunch of things in real life. But I'm gonna try to make this work. So this is gonna be the more in-depth review of Vigil. This is gonna be a little bit more specific on where everything is and getting a little bit more familiar on the map first. That's what I'm gonna try to do. Focus on. Uh, First thing to know. I'm just mainly talking about defense right now. The spawn doors are really close to the points on every single point besides first. What this means is that you can get really creative with what you do with tellies. It allows for some pretty wacky things and ideas. I encourage people to experiment if they can, especially during the off season, because there's lots of room to be creative with tellies. Because there's no point in really having tellies that go forward, especially let's say you're holding second. You build a telly entrance here. Where do you take it? Right here. Now it's like a five. That's like a 5 second walk for even a heavy. It's not great. You can try to have like a flank telly that goes behind that they can just use to wrap. Uh, Even further back into here if you want. Have a backwards telly from like here to passive, so you can maybe have a heavy super aggro, and then they can get out safely for free. There's lots of different options to do with tellies on every point. One of my more creative options that I've been doing, for instance, is when we're holding third, I put an entrance here, and I have an exit back here. And my spy uses that to get behind without any risk of spam, because it's a completely out of the way spot that people don't check too much, and there's no spam along the way, and they can just walk this way. They can choose to Your spy can either choose to spawn camp over there, or deal with the combo over here. So yeah, essentially I'm just trying to say that you have a lot of opportunities to get creative with your teleports. As for sentries and dispensers, you can be a little bit more creative with your dispensers, but sentries, like, this map is short and it's pretty tight. There's not a lot of room for creativity. A lot of spots that are meta and standard, and there's not a lot of flexibility around them. On second, on third, and even on last, they're probably pretty straightforward. There are a little bit of different spots that you can try, but I like to think that, like, for instance, upward is a lot more flexible of a map to have your spots. Same thing as Swiftwater for your guns. Like, that are in like very different spots. This map doesn't really have anything quite like that that's as effective. Dispensers, dispensers, like, there's a little bit of room on last to kind of mess around with your dispensers a little bit more, but on second and third, not as much. It's pretty standard with your dispenser placements. Now, going into the actual, like, how to play the map. Uh, Usually people don't hard hold first very much because there's not a lot of good ways to back out from a forward position. I've seen different ideas of, like, trying to use backwards tellies or just trying to kite out from behind this little side house. I've seen just like hard committing on first, really close, and then when everyone wipes, they just respawn in second and reset. I've seen lots of different ideas, but none really stick with teams, or especially if they can just get chased and rolled back really easily during those respawns. Uh, where most teams end up doing is just holding passive in this kind of square house area, and you can either have your gun slightly outside of it to cover a little bit more ground and to wrangle, or you can have it more passive and be cautious for flankers, including soldiers and spies. A lot of the time, spies will try to utilize this side house or utilize back here as a decloak spot on either you or your medic.
Erecting a dispenser.
So my standard spot, I usually put a dispenser right here, gun about right here. Some people put more forward, dispenser and gun more forward, or maybe dispenser back and gun forward, or maybe dispenser forward and gun back. It doesn't really matter. In this general area is like just the kind of spot for engineers to really be in a passive position. But there's lots of things to know. Like there's lots of decloaks from around this corner, or just in this house in general. Around this corner back here. They can go onto your players from decloak over here, or even on this side. Decloak in this corner. Around here. Not popular, but there is a way for you to like jump onto these crates. Yeah, like that. And if no one's looking, they could even just decloak right here. Now mind, a lot of what you're doing during a passive position is just looking around for spies. You don't really have to worry about bombers because if you're at least in a passive position, because you have this entire like overhang preventing any high bombs. You're looking for flanks mainly from either a soldier if it's called or the spy. Soldiers can easily get behind by just going to tunnel early and try to cut off any escapes. So that's something to be cognizant of. Otherwise, it's mainly just spies that just go into the side house and try to get stabbed. They can also go through tunnel though, so it doesn't hurt to check. My favorite spot that I just recently learned this last season was just this spot right here. You have your back to this corner, so you can't get backstabbed. You can have a view into the side house, as well as a decloak on this corner. And if they decloak around here, you can either hear it, or you can notice it early and try to shoot him down before he's able to do too much. Overall though, this is generally how you play a passive first point. Okay, without the interruption. Forward holds are possible, and some teams, especially in lower divs, will request a forward hold. How that's going to generally look like is either a tele behind here, or a tele behind here.
Teleporter coming right up.
And then your guns and dispenser
Dispenser going up.
is about in this area. It would look something like this, essentially, is what your setup on first would look like if your team requests a forward hold. You'll generally try to keep a look at all these corners, look for decloaks, but the thing that's probably going to be most annoying is either spam coming from this hill over here onto your gun. In fact, there might be even a pipe or a sticky angle. Otherwise, Uber fights from flank, your gun doesn't really watch that very well and can't really catch them till later, unless you put it very far passive, but then doesn't look at cart. So, no matter where you place your gun, there's always going to be a lot of vulnerabilities. Even if you just place it up against this wall, place it over here a little bit wider, back here, aggressive. There's going to be a lot of blind spots and vulnerabilities attached to it. So, in this corner in particular, it's vulnerable to decloaks down here. It's a really fast decloak, and then anyone can just peek this corner and spam and kill it, and it's pretty close range.
I'm moving this.
A little bit if you go a little bit further back, it has a little blind spot at the corner of this hill, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Plus, it doesn't watch back here very well. A team can get pretty close without peeking your gun. So, just be careful when you're holding aggressive and don't overly commit. Your life is especially important on second. A gun can stall a lot of time on second if the rest of your team goes down. So, and your spawn's right there. Something I want to quickly show is a little gimmicky trick that you're you're not required by any means to do. It's just a gimmick. What you can actually do is or did they change it? Nope, there we go. You can put your telly right on top of this roof. And get up here. Buildings up here aren't strong by any means. It's open. It's wide and open for any spam to hit it, and there's not a lot of cover for you during all that spam. What it's mostly good for is snipers. Snipers can get an angle all the way back here, where medics like to cross. They can look. I think they can even look. Yeah, they can look a little bit into this main spawn door and look at cart a little bit. There's a lot of good angles. It can be a little bit slow to get this kind of setup going, and it does leave your sniper a little bit more open, but that is a little gimmick you can do for your team and get a surprise angle. But really, that's all I have to say about first. There's not a whole lot more you need to know on defense for engineer. It's kind of a giveaway point for a lot of teams. I guess if you need to know where the packs are, small ammo there, medium for blue team. There's one in here somewhere. Yeah, there's a small up there, small right there, a full ammo and a medium health over here. And finally, there's a small health and small ammo right here. And that's essentially all the packs and all there is to know about this point in particular. Try not to get wrapped, but if let's say you're able to do a clean rotation and you're looking around for spies and any soldiers or any other kind of flank that tries to cut off your rotation. If everything's clear and you're able to back off it. This is my general positionings for both the gun and the dispenser. Dispenser, of course, goes up on behind this shack, and the gun goes on this somewhere on this platform. I like to put it on this bottom corner. It watches over all of cart right here. Can still watch over a little bit of hill, and can also look at side tunnel. A gun here means that you don't have to commit as many against this. I mean, I'm gun against this left edge of it. It means you don't have to commit a lot of players to keep eyes on cart because you have a gun always looking at it. Whereas if you put it in a little bit more, there's a lot of blind spots until it gets a lot closer. Quick tip, my personal quick tip is that put the dispenser a little bit more on the left side of this shack. Reason being is that during Ubers or just even with demo spam, they like to put down sticks around this corner and try to catch people with the spam further away. Keeps your players safer and healthier, and also keeps your dispenser healthier. At smaller risk of being destroyed, and if you have a heavy on the rock, it's a lot easier to quickly hide and then repeat, depending on who you have playing here. It can be a really fast repeat kind of play. Yeah, you do have to be careful of a lot of spam from side tunnel, especially soldiers. Soldiers will try to use direct hit or whatever means necessary to kind of take down your gun. So the Wranglers are very good on this point to deflect that kind of spam. It's also good for spy checking in corners and such, since the rockets can do with max ramp up and insta kill a spot. Do be careful of demo spam that goes over this ledge right here. Yeah, about right here, there is a blind spot for the gun where they can spam it. If you notice stickies on the feet, just blast stickies away, and you can use the Wrangler to kind of pressure them out if you want. If your gun's starting to take pipes for free, you can call that someone's on the gun, and you rotate someone to go deal with it. It's all very good. Yeah, spies usually decloak from this grass bush right there. Right down here against this, which is usually a lot of engineers' blind spot, so do be careful of this spot. I usually just like check and then maybe do a one hit shot and then just rotate back. Back here, a lot of spies hang out because they have this health and ammo right here, as well as health and ammo back here uh, near your spawn, so do be careful of that. And yeah, just generally checking around here. So there is a high skybox, so watch for bombers, etc. Playing back here is also pretty good if you don't mind the possibility of getting a decloak right here. Just look back and you can see a lot of decloaks very early, whether it's all the way back there in your spawn door, right in that bush, or right there. You get to view all those spots very early from just looking here, and it's a very safe place to stand. So not a whole lot of downsides, but again, blind sight right here. So occasionally just checking around here is also very good. There's no real alternative dispenser spots. If your team's is any more passive than this, like if you have to build a dispenser back here, like you're probably a little bit too passive and not able to like do a lot. That the dispenser doesn't really matter. Aggro, you can technically put it back here or back here if your team really wants to hold aggro, but you have to make sure that there's eyes on cart all the time. The guns, a passive gun spot would be more back on tracks, like back here. You can wrangle on the cart from back here if you need to. You can put it here if you don't want spam from cart but want to look over the hill. Same as in the shutter. You can, in post Ubers, you can lift the shutter and then catch players by surprise. During Ubers, if your gun goes down, I'm not opposed to just quickly switching to minis and just setting up a mini somewhere. You probably might not have enough time to rebuild a full level 3, so it doesn't hurt to try to give a little bit more offensive support with a mini. And then switching back to level 3s if you can regain the positioning. Otherwise, there's not much else to say about this point. I guess I'll go over packs. Small ammo and health over there. Medium health and ammo over here. Medium health and ammo near your spawn. And back behind the spawn, there's a small and medium right there. That's all the packs, I believe, for this point. And yeah, I think I went into everything you need to know. Sometimes, I guess sometimes players like to stand up here and spam. There's nothing you can really do about that. You'll have to ask one of your other players to deal with it. You can try to maybe spam them out, but really it's just not your job to deal with. And again, during Ubers, you want to preemptively wrangle. As soon as Uber goes, I like to just look around for the spy that likes to sap immediately. Always, whenever you see the shiny people on their team, you just want to look for spies immediately. Wrangle and look. Wrangle preemptively so the damage is reduced to your gun, and you don't need it to shoot anyone since they all should be shiny. And you look around for spy, because usually spies will take that time to try to get a sap off. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about this point. Going into defending third. Third is a lot more wide open with wide open flanks, as well as a tight kind of corridor along tracks, as well as an under flank that goes all the way under from tracks down here. No ammo, but there is a small health. So for this point, there's not a lot of good spots. Honestly, I think pretty much all the spots are kind of bad. you don't get like a great. There's no spot that has a great angle on tracks that's like covered to an extent, or something that's like not super super counterable. It's just one
Sentry
spot
going
would
up.
just be about right here. I like to put it somewhere from this line to this kind of to the start of the slope, and that's one of the spots I would use for a level 3. This is more so if you're in a rush. If you didn't have a gun to start with and you need to get one up as soon as possible, this is the spot I would go with. You have this medium ammo will be your best friend, as well as your resub. If you resupply bind, that also saves a couple of seconds. But yeah, you can either jump up that, or you can just go up this little stairs up this way. Oh, and I should have mentioned, I didn't mention this, but when they cap, you have a few seconds. I think it's like 5 to get into spawn from after they cap before that door locks, and then you can open up this door that goes to third. Of course, this door will lock at the same time as this door, so like 5 seconds after, uh, 5 seconds after they cap second point. This after they cap, this resub won't work, and this is like basically a one-way shutter where you can get out, but you can't go back in. So keep that in mind. My favorite spot, if I have a level 3,
I'm moving
is actually
this.
up on this crate straight up here. It, ha it has probably the best view on cart out of all the spots, watching over this hill. It's also not super decloakable. They can't really decloak on it because you'll usually play on this platform with a dispenser around this wall for your medic to stand in, or this combo get ammo from. From here, you can literally see everywhere around that gun. And if they decloak back here, you can catch it early. If they decloak under or around this area, your team should be able to catch it early as well as you, and you should be able to just kill the spy pretty easily. The biggest downside is the fact there's a giant sightline from back here that soldiers and snipers can use to spam out your gun. Your Wrangler will probably be your best friend, especially during Ubers. Also, a great thing about this spot is the fact that it's out of the way from the rest of your team, so that during an Uber exchange, they will specifically have to look away from the rest of your players to deal with your gun. The fact that it's in a big sight line, and also the fact that a lot of spam is going to head towards it away from where your team is. For me, it's pretty important to run Rescue Ranger. Shotgun is fine if that's your preferred playstyle, but I find for that positioning in specific that the Rescue Ranger helps a ton. Being able to just safely heal your gun from afar. If you can time it with the shield wearing off, even better. But just keeping that gun alive as much as possible, it helps your team a bunch. Usually by the time that your gun goes down once, I don't have enough time to build it again, or if I do, I would go back into spawn and switch back to Jag if I'm not on Jag already, and maybe with a shotgun, and just try to get another level 3 up around this spot. You can play a little bit more passive back here with your gun if needed, but usually it's fine right here on this kind of like part of the lane. If you do have a gun,
Moving out.
this part of the lane,
There wasn't
do
getting
be
any
careful about anyone back here. Snipers like to play back here, soldiers, combos even like to rotate back here and push. And you'll have to use your Wrangler to reach them, watch for a sniper, and try to use angles for cover. And yeah, that's really all you need to know about this. There's a lot of decloaks though. Also, if the spy's going for a combo pick, the biggest decloak is back here near your spawn. You'll decloak and then turn the corner onto your combo or onto your gun. So do be careful. Sometimes up here, especially if your sniper's up here. They'll decloak up here or back here or somewhere in this area, and then go for your gun afterwards. So it's all things to pay attention for. There is also a flank door back here behind that drop down basement area. And this goes all the way behind your gun as well. So those are all very important things to know about. I'm not a big fan of putting your gun on this platform, but it is an option if you just need something passive near your spawn door to just build something. Let's say they have full ad and you just need to build. That's one option. It is in the way of where your team is trying to back out to, back out into your spawn. So they would be getting the same damage as your teammates. Be careful of that. You do have a full ammo and a medium health right here if needed. Medium ammo and small health right there. And here you also have a small health and small ammo. I think, was there anywhere else? No, there's a small both back here behind a point. I already mentioned those. I think there was one more, right? Oh, I guess not. I guess that was all of them. Okay. And yeah, that's just about third. There's not a super high skybox. I don't think you have to worry about high bombing as much on this point, luckily. So keeping your eyes to the skies isn't as important. Just be careful to stay out of sniper sight lines, as well as keeping spam off your gun on this point in particular.
Packing up.
Going on to last. Alright, there's different ways that you can handle last. Most popular way, putting your gun up on the crate. It watches a lot of big door, main. You can see red room pretty early. It has a lot of view and it's high up and it's out of the way of the rest of your team. It's just a very good spot for a gun. The dispenser goes wherever your combo ready plays. If they play left, you put it in this corner. If they play right, you put it behind this wall. Otherwise, if you don't know where the fuck they're gonna play, or you just want it for your use, behind the rock. No, I mean rock. I meant crates is fine as well. And you can use that to jump up and get to your gun. Neat trick that I learned from Aaron. If you stand on top of your gun and if you're above 185, snipers from big door can't headshot you, and they can only body shot you. A lot of snipers like to play in that big door angle, and you can spam them off from here, and you can't get headshot. The most you can take is 150, so if your medic buffs you above 150, that overheal will actually save your life. So that's a very good way to play. You also get a good amount of view all around you if you look around. Yeah, that's generally just what you need to pay attention for. Tip for a certain playstyle: if you have a heavy that plays on these boxes in higher levels, this is meta. In lower levels, I'm not so sure. But if your heavy plays on this box, you can put an exit right in front of it, about right there. So the heavy can't get sniped from over there, and they don't have to cross a lot of spam. How this spot works is that, let's say your heavy is playing on this box, and they take all the spam, they back off, get healed, they take telly, they get back on the box. It's a lot easier for a heavy than going all the way around and potentially crossing a lot of spam right here just to get to this spot again. So that it's just one option. They also can't get headshot from red room, so it's a lot. It's preferable for a lot of higher div heavies to play there. Otherwise, another air gun spot, if you'd like, that I've seen used by a couple NGs. I never use this personally, but this is somewhere you can put your gun. You can watch over main, a little bit into red room, and you can't get spammed from big door, which I think is the biggest thing. Is just though you can't get spammed from big door in the single. I'm not a huge fan of it, but if this works for you, this is definitely a good spot, especially if that's where most of the spam that you're taking is from. It's just from big door. If the team doesn't know how to adjust, then you could probably hard hold this point for a lot longer. Decloaks, you can anywhere on this final point really. Like right here is a big decloak. Right here, they don't even need to hop on the dispenser. They can just zap like this. At your spawn back here, this corner, that corner even just under here. Back on these packs, and then on to your combo. They can go from your center door. Okay, so, but yeah, that's the general positioning for defense. I've seen mix of NGs run Rescue Ranger as well as Shotgun. Some even run Frontier Justice a lot on this point because you can reliably get a lot of kills with your level 3. It's really up to you how you want to play this point. There's not much more there is to know about defense. The Ubers that you can expect. You can expect an Uber either through Red Room. Sometimes you can get an early sign. When you see a demo starting to peek you a lot more, that's a sign to preemptively wrangle. You generally don't see Ubers from Big Door, but if you do, you can usually catch it pretty early and just spam them off either with your Wrangler. They do a lot of damage and pressure them out, or if they use early, then you already have the shield and they have to walk a distance to do a lot of damage. Probably the spot that probably counters the gun the most is from this left platform. They have an angle from right here, as well as just general spam from right here. They could even go around and just do a lot of damage. I think soldiers can have a blind spot from your gun right here. The idea is just that a lot of pressure from their combo and flank is enough to take down your gun, and they can play around corners way too much on that flank, so flank control is very important for this gun to work. Okay, going on to offense. That was defense. Yeah, let's just go on to offense quickly and check it out from this perspective. I usually put my telly right out the spawn gate on this far left. There's no real angle for it to be peeked from. As well as when you cap first, most spawns are on this left side, so it's a pretty clear-cut path to take the telly. On tracks is pretty fine. I wouldn't really ever put the telly all the way over here. Most spawns won't be that direction, especially after you cap first. Either on tracks back there or over here. Pushing the cart. Cart is generally just the usual way that you play. You can hide behind the cart on around here to stay out the sniper sight line, or to try not to headshot. When you are pushing the cart, play behind it and look around both up here and in the secret, and try to get the cart as soon as we can. And when you cross here, you probably want to look both on the right and the left, because this is a head glitch angle that some players like to utilize. If I can show off, yeah, about right here, it's a head glitch, and some players like to utilize it. Otherwise, there's hiders back here that might try to catch you out. So be careful just when pushing the cart. If you don't want to push cart, like let's say you're heavy volunteers with the Fist of Steel with your scout and they're ×3, you can't push. There's no reason to be ×4 in cart. So in that case, you can just help your flank with minis and just help take this entire side house area. Look down here, look for any hiders, just in general. Trying to make any plays. Try to clear as much as possible before walking forward on this far right. You can put down a gun and wrangle here if you want, and you can try to pressure them out to back out into the second. And yeah, just try to help take space, and usually by this point, you can just hop back on the cart, as your heavy then moves forward with your combo, and you finish the rest of the way. My tellies,
Teleporter going up.
I started to now put it on this side, as well as the dispenser either on this side of the wall, or this side of the wall, whichever your team prefers. I used to put my tellies up here, but my teams have started to get caught out in this spot corner, so kind of gave up with the idea, and now this little bit more passive doesn't get players caught out anymore, and they can have a lot easier time rotating. They're a lot more flexible. From here, you have two options. You can play tunnel with your flank and get as much cart time and cart presence as possible, or you can play support for your combo. The times that you wouldn't want to try to play flank is whether the rest of your flank is dead. B, there's just a lot of presence from their flank and tunnel, especially a soldier, since a soldier in this kind of tighter kind of tunnel area is very makes you very spammable, and they will do a lot of damage to you, and they have access to a pack, but you don't. So if you think you're gonna die, you can just back out, and you can help your combo instead until your soldier makes space for you. Gun spots, you can put me in this corner and watch both pretty well. You watch any over aggressors on hill trying to go into your combo that's passive, and you can watch passively into tunnel and wrangle if you need to. You can put a gun on this crate, just in the middle of this hill. If you're ballsy, you can put it around here, and you can just wrangle all the way back there, or just in general in this area and try to catch out any players overextending. Otherwise, you can help out your flank, and just anywhere in the middle of this tunnel is fine. Usually like right here covers side tunnel a fair bit, unless you push the cart. Watch your spies hiding in this corner, or any hiders in general. When you push the cart right out of tunnel, you need to be careful of two things. Anyone playing on top of this rock right here, looking down, and you have to be careful of anyone hiding on this side. Both sides could possibly have hiders, as well as when you turn this corner, someone could be hiding back here. Snipers and other players could try to get an angle at you through this little shack as well. So there's a lot to be careful about in tunnel, and it's a big danger zone outside of Ubers.
I'm moving this.
But that's pretty all there is to it. You can play around Ubers, play around cart, do whatever it takes to get that cart up this little hill. None of it is rollback, so wherever you push it stays until there is rollback over time. You can try to head glitch a gun on this hill if you want. That's kind of a funny thing, but if you can afford to, what works works. Otherwise, just play behind your combo and try to get the cart up and pushed. Once you cap, you just push this cart along to about right here, where I usually put my telly, about right there, my dispenser along this wall, and I'll either play main with my mini to do passive support, so that if they overextend, they're caught out. There's no real reason to play back here unless you wanted to build a mini during Ubers. Let's say there's an Uber fight. Anywhere on this strip of this hill is very good. Back here as well. Just have a mini up there while you push the cart and try to get it up this slope. This slope is rollback, so that if you can't, either you get it up all the way or you don't. If you get midway, it's just going to slide down. So do be careful. It's pretty steep as well. I usually bait a little bit, try to bait players forward and then get back and let my team fight off the overextending player. But if they're down a lot, you can usually just afford to get it up the hill all in one go. Of course, keep in mind, now once you cap this point, you have forward spawn, so your new entrance is right here. This is the spawn room. Uh, this is the main door that everyone will be using, and where the telly is. There is another exit though, which is back here. This is a spawn door as well, uh, but most people don't use that. They only use that if this is being hard stickied and just spawn camped. You can use that to get out safely and just wrap around it and then deal with the spawn campers, but usually you don't need to use that back door. But yeah, as soon as you have the cart as far as it can go, there's not much else for you to do in this area. You can usually afford to rotate all along the side. There's a window here if you just want to check out what's happening along the way, and you're pretty safe when doing it. And if you have a sniper playing right here, you can bodyguard him, help protect him from spies and flank members, and the mini in the middle of this room can help him a lot. Or you can rotate with either your sniper or flank all the way far over here, play either in this yard, or you can play over here and try to get a wrangled mini and just generally support your team as you try to make space for the cart pushers to push the cart. And yeah, those are really the big playstyles. Sometimes I'll play back here, and then when I see that an Uber fight's happening, just quickly build a gun, and then get on a cart. And that's pretty fast. That's pretty much a fast rotation from behind here, gun, cart. So that's very good. Keep in mind you can stand on the rocks up here if you're trying to catch a player out. A funny thing that you can do as well, you can make a jump onto here, and if you don't suck like I do, make a jump up there as well. And yeah, so you push the cart in, and then we're on to last. Oh, and when you cap, be careful with snipers trying to get a last second peek from inside their spawn outwards. Since this does look over cart, always have eyes on that shutter because it doesn't lock straight away. The cart goes from that point through here into last like that. This is your new forward spawn once you cap third. There's a back door right there and a front door right here. Just need an entrance right in that door, and you can some NGs put it super passive back here so it doesn't die. Other spots have a higher risk of dying but take you a lot further. I sometimes use that spot. If you're really aggro, you can use this spot or this spot, or whatever works for your team. From here you have several options on what you want to do. You can just keep on pushing the cart and try to build a gun from this main area. Watch for any spam from this platform. Your gun would go down pretty quickly. Watch for any decloaks back around here, and just in general. Mini in main or a level gun main both work pretty well in my experience. Otherwise, you can help your flank. Your flank is usually playing either in this big door with your sniper, or all the way here trying to take this platform. Anything works. You can try to get a mini up the base of the stairs and try to catch overextending player into your flank. A popular thing to do is to have a passive mini either up here in one of these corners. You can have it more aggro on here, on this corner, or just back here, just in general, so that it watches this big door. So anyone that tries to like rush your sniper, they get caught out. You can play up here as well. Those are different spots for you to use.
Dispenser going up.
Dispensers can either go here, big door, or if your flank is hard holding their platform for whatever reason, you can put it over here. But at that point, usually you just want to focus on capping the point.
Building a sentry.
Wrangling from big door, if you're allowed to put mini here, this can be pretty effective on getting a little bit of spam damage before or during Ubers. I make sure that this is a very important point to coordinate with your combo to get that cap time going, either during Ubers or after Ubers. Do not feed before the Uber though. Otherwise, your team's gonna have a lot tougher time pushing this last. Usually during make sure if they can get down the gun, that's usually a time where you can just get free cart time. If they start spamming, you can either back out big door or back out through main, whichever is safer. Don't commit your life to pushing during an Uber though. If you're getting spammed during an Uber, just leave and try to play post. Get healthy again and play post is probably what I'd recommend.
I'm moving this. That there wasn't getting
There's
any lighter.
there is one trick that I wanted to quickly show for level 2s if you'd like to try a leveled gun spot.
Packing up.
I'm a big fan about on this track right here. If the car is passed, this watches a lot. Anyone that tries to overextend the point, it sees them and it head glitches right around here. And some players don't notice it until it's too late. That could be a good way to get it up this hill. This is a slope that instantly rolls back if no one's on it. So you either get it up all the way or you don't get it up at all. Once it's all the way up, usually it's up to your spy to kind of back cap it. Yeah, that's essentially Vigil Engineer.